In this episode of Something to Say, RGVision CEO Gabriel Puente will be speaking with RGVision Content Manager Amy Casebeer. Join the conversation as they chat about empathizing with clients, utilizing RGVision's innovative and comprehensive services over a variety of platforms, and how storytelling remains central to RGVision's mission of highlighting and promoting the growth of businesses in the Rio Grande Valley. Good morning.
Morning.
So today we're talking about empathizing with the clients for our latest Ask RGVision story. I think this is our third one.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. So we talk a lot about storytelling, and there's a story that I've heard you tell about prior to RGVision. So this was 10 years or more in the past. You had a boss at another job who used to get after you for taking too much time with clients because you wanted to listen to their stories. Can you, if you don't mind telling on yourself?
Yeah, no. So, that's a great story. Yeah, it's a good segue. I was always fascinated with stories, right? And figuring out how people got to where they are today. And I always knew, seeing somebody on the street or talking to an entrepreneur or meeting a farmer or anybody, I was just really fascinated with, how they decided to go either in, that direction or how they got to where they were. And so, as the advertising director for that publication, my whole job was to really just, sell ads at the time. And every time I would go to a lead, I was just fascinated with, the entrepreneur, the business owner, the medical professional. And I was like, oh my God, you have such an amazing story, and they just, it was very genuine because they understood that I was really passionate about telling their story. And so I would go back to the publisher and said, hey, I saw the ad, but we need to tell their story. And I was just always fascinated with those stories. And I just knew that I was doing it in the larger market here in Texas. And, I found out, when I eventually moved back to the Rio Grande Valley that there's a lot of stories to be told. And there was really no medium to tell those stories. Because traditional mediums like the news, it's very quick, it's brief, and it's, breaking news, certain stuff. But we really weren't touching on, solid profile stories of individuals who've helped the Rio Grande Valley, move in the direction it's going in today. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's really neat that the storytelling facet really kind of led to the establishment of RGVision magazine.
Yeah, and it's funny is that those are buzzwords today. Storytelling. I mean, in the marketing field, there's a lot of buzzwords going out from conversational marketing, drip campaigns, storytelling, content creation. We've been content creators and storytellers since 2009, and I, at heart, that's ultimately what I'm passionate about is sharing the stories of the people. Because it's inspiring. It's inspiring to me. And also, if I'm inspired, I believe, other people are going to be inspired as well to not only either follow in those footsteps, also, learn from other people's mistakes and help us grow in the right direction. Yeah.
Right on. Okay, so it's pretty apparent, I think, to everyone how storytelling plays a central role with the magazine. But with the marketing side of RGVision and all of our service lines like website creation, video production, social media management, how does storytelling play a role in those areas?
Plays a major role. The market, it's getting more sophisticated, and obviously people are, tired of being sold stuff. They get sold stuff every single day. And so, if you give them something a little bit more to digest as far as, content and substance, that's really what, the premise of our storytelling, is about. And so, it's played a major role in what we are today. My whole background, I used to work for a large Hispanic ad agency out of San Antonio. And, that's when traditional mediums were, for the Gambrinus Company, Kmart, Corona Group, American Airlines, there was a handful of mediums at the time. And fast forward to today, there's hundreds of mediums and if not thousands that people can go to and use, especially with the social media marketing that is available to consumers, available to companies and what have you. So it's played a major role in what we're able to offer, and it's helped us transition into that. Since it started almost about 6 years ago. So when the publication, the whole premise of the magazine was really storytelling, creating content. Ever since we started as a publication, my focus on our ratio for RGVision publications was 70% content and 30% advertising, because we believe that the people are going to be more engaged with the content, and eventually that's going to help drive the traffic of the advertisers who see the benefit in reaching our audience. And so with that said, it's our whole focus has not been more ad generation, it's been more content creation. And with that has helped us move into those areas. I mean, we've had the experience, we've been doing it for ourselves for quite some time, and we just fell into it because there's a lot of our advertisers who needed the help, and it was something new to them at the time. They needed help with their website development, their video production, or social media management, because they didn't know they always had, quote unquote, a guy who said they could do it for X amount of dollars. And I've continued to hear the stories back then that somebody said they could do it for a certain price. It was a lot, it was very affordable, and 6 months later they still don't have their product. And it just, they just wasted their money. And so, unfortunately, there was a lot of bridges that were burned, with the wave of everybody wanting to jump into digital marketing at the time without understanding the business acumen behind it. And so, we kind of felt like, hey, we have a duty to help our clients and help our advertisers to give them those services that, a lot of people say they are providing. They're over-promising and under-delivering. And so we were able to help out. And it just made sense for us to just make it a service line after that, because we just felt that there was more of a need from the client side for us to help out with that. And so having the premise of content creation and storytelling, it transitioned easily, into website development, right? I mean, that's a digital storefront for a lot of our clients. And that's how, people are going to be looking at their product, their services, their image. And so it was our job to tell their story and help that communicate to the end user or the client on a digital storefront or digital front end. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Over the last 6 years that we have really been leaning into the marketing side of the business, what would you say are maybe some of the most memorable stories that we've told for people?
I think over the past 10 years, the most memorable for me that have made a huge impact in our region. One was regionalism, right? And whenever we talk about content creation, I mean, this is real content creation. We're creating content that, before regionalism in the Rio Grande Valley, and let me back up for those who aren't familiar with the Rio Grande Valley, it's comprised of 3 counties, and that's, if you compile all those counties and cities all together, there were 1.2 million people. At the time is when we did that census. We figured out what was the population of all the cities that made up the Rio Grande Valley. And on the front cover, we mocked up what the Rio Grande Valley city limit sign would look like. And so we had that as a cover story. And we interviewed a man by the name of Sam Coates, who was very pivotal in the construction of the DFW Metroplex, which is Dallas-Fort Worth. He, in the article, had mentioned that the Rio Grande Valley was what Dallas and Fort Worth was in the 70s. Where it was very segregated, it was very separated, and they were trying to eat each other's lunch, and one city just wanted to to have one airport, the other city wanted their own airport, and they wanted to have so it was really hard to come together to help the whole area as a whole to flourish and grow and create economic growth. And so he started talking to us, RGVision, about how the landscape in the Rio Grande Valley is similar to that. And we started throwing out the term regionalism and how that can impact us economically as a region. And that was about 6 years ago. And not too long ago, Governor Abbott just finally signed the Rio Grande Valley is now one MSA. And so that is the most memorable interview and the most memorable storytelling that I've felt, because I'm from here. Although I've moved to Dallas, Denver, Colorado, San Antonio, eventually back to the Rio Grande Valley, I believe this place is extremely unique in that not only because I'm from here and I love the area, but it really is. And in the article, he had mentioned that this is somewhat the America's last frontier because there's so much opportunity here. And so that was the most memorable one for me. And I see the impact that we've made as a publication, and you as a content creator, as editorial and chief of the publication, has helped drive conversations, has helped drive profiles, has helped drive engagement and inspiration to the Rio Grande Valley and our readers of the Rio Grande Valley and the people who are outside who are watching us and listening to us or reading about us online.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of my favorite projects that I felt really lucky to be a part of that continues to be a part of the publication and our services has been Explore RGV. Like, it's tremendous impact on the area.
Yep.
And we got the opportunity to help tell the story of almost 1,000 different places here.
Yeah.
Which it was an enormous project, but really fulfilling and just a really great way to highlight the growth of this area. And even smaller cities that might not usually get the kind of attention that others do.
Right.
But I mean, that was video, that was social media, that was content in the magazine.
Yeah. And actually writing up a big website for,
Oh, yes.
to actually come up with it's basically a huge directory for the Rio Grande Valley and what they've called the assets of the Rio Grande Valley. I mean, you said like thousands or 1,000, anywhere between 800 to 1,000 assets that we started with. And it's still continuing to grow. So, yeah, check it out. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's goexplorergv.com. It shows all of our assets of the Rio Grande Valley, and it's awesome. It's actually one of our websites that we designed. So, yeah, that was a huge undertaking. That was a big project, and it was awesome. And we're very proud of it. What else? Our first story, the most memorable one is always our first issue, right? Back in the day. And it was stories like Dr. Bassett, who's an orthopedic surgeon out of Harlingen, who is here in the Rio Grande Valley, who has patented his own knee that's used around the world. And he has also worked on the Queen's hip. And so stories like that aren't being shared and people don't know about is really what we're passionate about. We really want to let people know of the rock stars, the gems, the assets that we have right here in our backyard that are making a huge impact in our region, across the state, across the nation, also across the world. And so, yeah, there's so much more stories to tell, through RGVision. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what new platforms today? You had mentioned earlier that platforms and the availability and the ability to tell stories has continued to expand, especially now. What platforms do we use that are available today to help tell stories for clients?
Well, the three top websites in the world that people are using today is Google, YouTube, Facebook, and then there's a bunch of others. But those are the three top platforms that we really like to focus on when it comes to storytelling, content creation, and digital marketing. And so those are the platforms that we try to help our clients with and also use ourselves. When it comes to YouTube, it's all about video, storytelling. I mean, people have gone to YouTube on how to or why does, or so there's a lot of informational videos, educational videos, and how people are digesting the content today is totally different from how it was 10, 15 years ago. So yeah.
Awesome. So what role does storytelling have in sales and marketing? I know that you mentioned earlier that people are sick of getting sold to, just like buy. So how do we sort of craft the approach for clients?
Well, we look at ourselves as consultants, and we expect all of our clients that we work with to do the same for their consumer, their clients, and what have you. So, it's important for us to educate, right? And it's important for us to educate the consumer and educate the market so that we're a little bit more educated and making smarter decisions. Because at the end of the day, it's going to help out everybody. Look, we're not the solution for everybody. We're not trying to be, but we want to make sure that all of our clients, or at least all the people that we've talked to that want to engage with either, digital marketing, what have you, are making an educated decision. And so we are open to that, and we expect that from our clients as well. So whenever we're sharing their story, it's all about education and educating the market, educating the client, because that builds trust, it builds loyalty. And like I said before, the market is extremely sophisticated. We're getting smarter and smarter. And so it's really easy to identify whether I'm being sold something or not. In some cases, it's not. But what we try to do is let the client try to be as transparent, and we also tell the client, or our clients, to be as transparent as possible, so that people are making educated decisions. It's all about education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a crystal ball in front of you.
Mm.
You can see 10 years into the future. Where do you see storytelling developing and continue to having a role in marketing and sales?
I see more people wanting to slow down as the market is moving forward. So, it's funny, as I started reading comic books again, and it's something that people want because of the nature of all the information that's out there that we've been engaged with through social media, and then, that we're looking at on a daily basis and getting bombarded with so much stuff. It's always good to just sit down, stop, and really engage. And that's why I feel, print, similar to like RGVision print, or, is coming back. And it's coming back in a big way because people are wanting to stop, take a break, and get engaged and digest more content, and also get more educated. So storytelling is going to go, it's going to continue to evolve. We're just going to be, I believe the market is going to be open to digesting more content. I mean, a lot of people have come to us, we only need 5 seconds of video. We need 10 seconds of video. That's the only thing, because all the data shows through all the analytics you're able to see that people are bouncing after they see the first 10 seconds. Well, it's not because, people aren't open to seeing more than 10 seconds. It's just probably because it's boring. Mm-hmm. And so, if it's a little bit more intriguing and the storytelling is done and it's done right, then people are going to be engaged, and they're going to sit down and they're going to listen. And they're going to listen for a little bit longer, as long as they're being educated and informed. Yeah. So, and as long as it's a compelling story, they're going to listen. They're going to watch it. That's
awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for answering my questions. And anything else that came to mind while we were talking about storytelling and empathizing and?
Empathizing. I think I think I did touch on empathizing with the client a little bit, and understanding that they have budgets. They have. And we like to work with small, medium-sized businesses because we are one. And so, and we understand that there's budget constraints. And so a lot of times we try to come up with solutions for them rather than trying to fit people in a bucket, right? Or fit them in a certain box. It's real easy for companies to just create a product that has a set plan and to try to fit clients into that plan. We know that every client is different. They have different needs, and they also have different budgets. And so what I try to do, and what we try to do at RGVision, is try to empathize and understand where the client is coming from before we even try to pitch something. That's why we listen. Mm-hmm. Try to figure out, okay, what is it that they need? What is it that they're looking for? And if we have a solution for it, then we're going to provide it. If not, we'll definitely point them in the right direction. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh, can I do that? Yep. Thank you. This podcast has been awesome. Thank you so much, Amy.